Hello and welcome to Pick a Card Palace. In today's Pick a Card reading, we will be answering the question, if you were to get into a relationship with them, how happy would it be? I'd like to say a special thanks to my viewer Squish for suggesting this topic. We appreciate you so much. For this reading, we have 6 options. Option 1 says, be the most brilliant color in the box. Option 2 says, today is your day. Option 3 says, so proud of you. Option 4 says, you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. Option 5 is, what an amazing job. And option 6 is, embrace what makes you different. Okay, so have a look at these options, and once you've made your selection, or selections, because it is okay to watch more than one if you are drawn to more than one, then you can scroll down to the description box where you will find links taking you directly to each of these individual readings. I'm going to give you a little more time to make your selection before we get started, but if you need more time after that, just pause the video. Hello there, option 1, if you chose this card which says, be the most brilliant color in the box, this will be your reading. Again, today we are answering the question, how happy would you be if you were to be together? So let's see, where do I want to start? I think I'll start here. Okay. So first I just want to see what the relationship itself would be like. Just in one card, please. What would the relationship be like if option 1 were to get together with the person on their mind? Okay, we have the devil, and excuse me for a moment because I need to make this YouTube friendly. Let me see what I've got here. Do I have? I hope I've got something. Let's try that. Okay, I guess that kind of works. Let me see. Put that there. Wow, we got a lot going on here with this card. Okay, here we go. There we are. I hope that doesn't obscure things too much for you there, but this card is the devil. Don't be scared. So this is, in one card, how your relationship would be if you were to be with them. Now, I think this is not referring to anything evil, per se. I think this is more so referring to the vibe between the two of you. This looks like an incredibly strong bond that would be formed. If the two of you were to get together, it would probably at times feel like you literally could not get away from this person. They might feel that way at times. You might feel that way at times. It's kind of a, what would you say? Can't live with them, can't live without them kind of dynamic potentially. Okay, I don't want to make it sound bad per se, but I mean, like, this is going to be hopefully a realistic type of reading. That was my intention. So you just, it's good to know before you go in what to expect. And so, again, this isn't necessarily bad, but I can't say it is rainbows and fairy tales and lollipops and unicorns sliding down the rainbow to a pot of gold all the time, okay? Like, there's a realness to this relationship, and that's good, I think. But again, the strong bond is what is being emphasized here for me. And that's certainly not a bad thing in and of itself. So now let's see option one. I'm going to pull one card for you and one card for your person to find out what the relationship, what each one of you would bring to the relationship. So what energy would option one bring to this relationship if they were to get into a relationship with the person on their mind? Put that one here. And we'll get a card for your person. What energy would option one's person bring to the relationship if option one and this person were to get into a relationship? Okay, got that right there. So let's see what we've got. Okay, for you, we have the Queen of Pentacles. I don't know why it wants to be all blurry like that. Bane of my existence. Why can't you focus? Why don't you want to focus? Well, this camera has been known to focus, but I guess it is not going to do it for me now. Oh well. For your person, we have the Knight of Swords. Okay, so you are coming through like the Queen of Pentacles, so you would be the practical one here. The one who's more grounded and stable and sensible. You would probably, I would say, be the one who was putting in, I don't want to say yet more work, but you would be putting in quite a bit of work here. And that's not a bad thing either. You know, if two people can go 50-50, that is considered an ideal. But as I was saying earlier, this is going to be a reading that's realistic, or that's the goal. So if you were in a relationship with them, yes, you would be maybe putting in more effort. It doesn't mean you would be putting in 90% and they would be putting in 10%, though. I don't want it to sound that way. But since you are coming through as the more grounded and practical and work-oriented one, that is to be expected, that you would be concerned with those types of things more so than your person who comes through as the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords, well, first of all, we got a Queen and a Knight, so there's a suggestion here of the possibility of an age gap between the two of you. And if there's not actually an age gap, it could be that there's just a maybe a maturity gap would be the way to say it. And this person is coming through as someone who would be more logical and intellectual about things. This person might not always think about your feelings or even their own feelings in situations in this relationship, and might come across at times as being a bit harsh, but it is because their nature is to be logical. Their nature is to communicate clearly, and they would be very skilled at that, but it might create some bit of, you know, maybe some hurt feeling. I would say that possibly. So, okay, let's see what I want to look at next. Let's get some more information about the two of you and what energy you would be bringing to this relationship. But actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to ask that. I'm going to actually just go straight for the jugular here, because we're already talking about the energy that you would bring and that they would bring. So let's just go ahead and cut to the chase. And I should mention, by the way, that I am assigning the Queen of Pentacles on this side to you and the Knight of Swords on this side to your person, but it could be flipped, because that does happen sometimes in these readings. The energies are flipped, so keep that in mind. Like, if that didn't sound like you, but it did sound like your person being the practical one, and then, it could be just the other way around. But anyway, for this person who's represented by the Queen of Pentacles, how happy would this person be in this relationship if this relationship were to happen? Okay, we have the Nine of Wands. Let me try to make room for everybody here. Okay, and let's also go ahead and draw a card for the person over here, the Knight of Swords person. So how happy would this person be in this relationship if it were to happen? We have the Two of Cups. That's lovely. Okay, so here on this side with the Queen of Pentacles, whether that's you or your person, we've got this energy here of some defensiveness. It seems as though our queen here would be perhaps on guard because our knight over here is, as I said, very perhaps sharp-tongued, blunt, and not overly concerned about feelings, which is kind of funny since, how happy they would be comes through as a card of feelings. But anyway, we'll get to that shortly. But for the Queen of Pentacles over here, this dynamic would create, I would think, some tenderness on the Queen's part, some sense of having to keep going, even though maybe there have been some moments when our knight has maybe touched a sensitive spot with the queen, and the knight, isn't really a sentimental and feelings oriented person, at least not here in this energy. And so the knight would likely believe that he or she was just being honest, just being open, just saying what they were really thinking. This maybe would not be taken as very well by the queen. And so over time I could see how this would build up, in that, there would be, some difficulty with that. So my recommendation, obviously, if you were to be together, I shouldn't say obviously, but my recommendation would certainly be to not let it get to the point where every time you talk to this person, they make you just immediately put your guard up because you're just waiting for them to say something that feels like you're being attacked or otherwise not honored or appreciated, etc. And I say you, but I mean the queen. So if that's your person and not you, then I would be referring to your person. And now that dynamic would do well to adjust accordingly to. But for the knight person over here, we have a very different energy that comes through about how happy they would be. The knight person would be feeling very close to the queen. The knight person would be feeling like, hey, we are on the same page. We are natural partners, maybe even soulmates. This person would actually be quite happy with the pairing. So if this person, the knight, ends up hurting the feelings at times of the queen, it's not because the knight is being intentionally disrespectful or unappreciative. It's just this knight's personality. This is just this knight's way to speak that in that manner. And so maybe best case scenario, the queen here could learn to not take it maybe so personally, if that's I don't know how I could say that in a softer way. I mean, I'm certainly not attacking the queen for having a problem with the knight, saying things that sting, okay? But I'm suggesting that, there's still way for the queen, in case the queen is you, that you could deal with this dynamic in a way that would help you to not, have such a difficult time of it, I guess I'd say. Okay, let's see. Now, what would I like to look at next? Okay, let's try this. Okay, so again, the question we're asking here is how happy would the relationship be? How happy would option 1 be with this person on their mind if option 1 were to get into a relationship with this person? How happy of a relationship would that be? Okay. Okay, we have romance. That's nice. I'll put that over here. Let me see what's on the bottom of the deck here. And we have tenderness. Oh, very nice. Can you see those two? Oh, isn't that lovely? Okay. So I am happy to see those cards come out, option 1, because I'm like, is anyone still here? Is anyone still listening after we begin with probably some, I said I wanted this reading to be realistic, and that was some real talk there. So if you're still with me, you get to see that that's not all that this relationship would be about. This relationship would be still very happy. Okay, you have these issues, and everybody has issues. Okay, there's no perfect relationship. But the fact that these two cards come out in a deck that, by the way, is by no means going to give us such beautiful cards, okay? This is not one of those fluffy decks. This deck gives you a range of possibilities. And here you get 2 really great cards out of this deck. Romance and tenderness. So I really don't have to say a lot other than that. Despite the issues, there will be romance and tenderness in this relationship. And the 2 people in these 2 cards, they look very happy. Okay, and in both cards, you see the sun is shining, the sky is blue, and the female is wearing a red dress. So, there's passion here as well. There's delight in each other and in just being able to spend time with each other, being able to travel with each other, sit and just be with each other and listen to each other breathe, maybe. So I'm glad to see that, because that means there's a high level of romance here. So let's not get discouraged by these issues we talked about earlier. As I said, the knight is not intentionally trying to harm or hurt the queen. It's just a personality difference here. And I should mention, by the way, we got earth energy and we got air energy. So earth is Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Air is Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Now, as we said, earth and air, they are not considered harmonious elements for each other, but it's okay because of all of the good things that are in this relationship. Okay. Please tell us more. Okay. Actually, you know what I'd like to do here? I'm just kind of winging it. Option 1 is usually kind of clunky. If you ever watch my videos and you watch option 1, it's always like, I don't have it. I'm not always 100% clear on exactly where I want to go or what questions I want to ask. So I apologize for that, but it does make for a reading that is probably a little longer, usually runs a little longer than the other options. So let's see what do I want to do this yet? I was going to do this, and now I'm thinking I want to do something else. But I'm going to go ahead and do it. What advice do we have here for option 1 for this relationship to help to improve it, to make it happier? Whoa. I don't take flippers. If you watch my channel, you know I don't, but I do let them have their little 5 minutes of fame, their little 5 or maybe 50 seconds. This card says restart. Every act of forgiveness is a fresh beginning in love. Oh my goodness. Look at that. So we have on this picture, we've got a sunset on the beach. Look at this romance picture. We've got a sunset on the beach. Oh, don't you just love the synchronicities in these readings? But yeah, this is very appropriate. So I'm glad this card flew out. I'm not going to put it down on the table. I'm going to shuffle and draw one like I like to do. But this is an important point, is that this relationship is going to require forgiveness, acts, plural, of forgiveness, to give the other person, the benefit of the doubt, and understand that they're not coming from a bad place. They're not trying intentionally to hurt you, but instead they are just being who they are, you know. And so it's a matter of being able to give someone grace. And every time you do that, it's a fresh beginning in love, which could only help with the other elements here, the romance and the tenderness. You know, as the song says, show a little tenderness towards your person, you know, and things will be much happier. Okay, let me shuffle some more and draw a card. Okay. This deck has a lot to say about this relationship here with some advice. Again, another flipper. We have lock. Lock your commitment away from the world's interference. Oh, that's interesting. So the other advice is, you know, don't go around trying to maybe get someone else's advice on this relationship. That's funny. I'm not saying don't watch any tarot tube readings on this relationship, but I think this is referring to the idea that, you know, don't listen to just whatever someone else has to say, and just run with that. You know, your relationship is between you and this person, so they should be the one you go to first, and they're the one you are going to be committed to if this relationship happens. So you too need to be able to work things out without, again, the interference, the noise from other people who may or may not wish you well, actually. Okay, so let me see. Let's try one more time. So what is the advice for option 1 so that they could help to make this relationship happier? If that, you know, it's a theoretical relationship, but even so. Okay, we have tide. Sail together with the rise and fall of the tides. Okay, so this card is suggesting to just, you know, ride the wave. Ride the waves, you know. There'll be maybe good times and not so good times. There will be stable times and rocky times, but that's okay if the two of you are committed to sailing together, keeping it together, no matter what is going on. And again, with regard to, you know, these instances in which someone butts up against someone else's tender spots, when that happens, remember to show this person some grace and forgiveness, because again, they don't mean to be hurtful necessarily, you know, and that should be something to be kept in mind. Okay, so let me switch gears a little and ask now, so what else should option 1 know about this relationship and how happy it would be? What else should option 1 know about this relationship, potentially, Okay, we have, if for some reason I lost my memory, what's the first thing you would tell me about us? Huh, interesting. So I actually feel like that goes along with, the main topic here, which is um, accepting each other's differences and giving each other, grace. Here, this card refers to jogging someone's memory. So I think at times it will be necessary for both of you to remember the romance and the tenderness you share, the love you have for each other, why you are together in the first place, the commitment that you have to each other. Because there will be moments when maybe you're going through one of those ouchie moments where, there's hurt feelings because someone unintentionally offended the other. And this card says, or to me, this card is saying in this context that you need to talk it out and remember what's most important. Don't hold on to the hurt feelings. Don't let them fester and grow. Don't let them pile up and become, this defensiveness here, this like ongoing stance of defensiveness. Don't let it get that far. Okay, so now I'm going to bring out the Scrabble cards, which probably some people like and some people don't. But anyway, I like it. I try not to force them on my readings too often. But I'm going to see, and this is always a challenge and experimental, but I want to see if I can get some kind of understanding. I won't say understanding, but I want to see if I can draw a few of these letters and get a song for you. A song that would characterize this relationship. So please give me 5 letters that will spell out words or phrases or acronyms or remind me in any way of a song that would characterize this relationship between option 1 and their person, if option 1 and their person were to get into a relationship. Okay, we have M, E, B, T, and Z. Okay, I don't have lots and lots of room here, but we're squeezing them in. Okay, so I don't know what this song, I'm not sure I know what this song's about, but it's in my head. It came to me. There's a song from probably the 80s, and I think it was Hall & Oates, and I guess it was called Method of Modern Love. So I'm going to link that in the description for you, option 1. Let me make note of that. So you can go check out the lyrics. Maybe that would give you some insight into how this relationship would be. And I'm sorry, I would give you some more context, except I really don't know. That's the only line. I remember the name of the song. That's pretty much it. So, yeah, check that out if you're at all inclined. I think I'm going to end it here. Option 1. Thank you so much for joining me and bearing with me as I worked out the kinks in this reading. If you enjoyed this reading or found it insightful or helpful or in any kind of way, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and or give this video a thumbs up. Thank you again for joining me. I'm going to move on now to option 2. Hello there, option 2. If you chose today is your day, this will be your reading. We are answering the question, if you were to get into a relationship with this person, how happy would it be? So to start, we are going to look at what the energy of this relationship would be. Just in one card, please. Please describe the relationship that option 2 would have with the person on their mind if the two of them were to get into a relationship. What would it be like? Please describe it in one card for us. Okay, we have the Chariot. Okay, so the Chariot is giving me vibes of achievement, and for some reason the word I was thinking of is royalty. It could be because this guy's wearing a crown, so I'll give them that. I'm not usually drawn to that though. And does the charioteer usually wear a crown? I don't know. Things that you don't notice. But anyway, the dynamic between the two of you here is one in which the two of you would be working together despite being very, very different. Like you have some very different ways of doing things, maybe some very different personality traits, but somehow you work together so that the two of you can move things in the same direction. And obviously, if you were going to be in a relationship with each other, you'd have to do that. But the thing is that this would be kind of an ongoing thing, an ongoing type of negotiation between the two of you, because again, you wouldn't be able to fall back on the idea that, oh, you know, we're so on the same page about everything that we hardly even have to check in with each other, or I just know that my person is going to like it if I, you know, book a restaurant for dinner, or if I invite friends over, or if I decide to take this job in that place far away, or whatever the case may be. No, you would not have that kind of thing going on in this relationship. This is a relationship of almost maybe opposites. Opposites attract here. Which in and of itself is not a bad thing. Again, you just have to understand that, you know, going in, that you would have to negotiate a lot. And if you could do that, then, you know, everything would be good. And I don't see a reason to think so far that you wouldn't be able to do that. So this, though, is the overarching energy that comes through for what this relationship would, you know, be like in and of itself. Now I want to look at the both of you and see what energy each one of you would be bringing to this relationship. So I'm going to pull one card for you and one card for your person. My intention will be for you to be on the left and your person to be on the right, but keep in mind that the energies could be flipped, switched, which means that you could end up being the person on the right and your person could be the one on the left. So I think I'm just going to not refer to either one as you or them. I'm going to refer to each card for what it is, so we can keep things kind of straight. So for this relationship here, if this relationship were to happen, what would be the energy that option 1 would bring to this relationship? And what about option, did I say option 1? I meant option 2. Sorry, y'all. Sorry. Okay. And for option 2's person, what energy would they bring to this relationship if this relationship were to happen? Okay, we got that. So let's see. For you, or for one of you, as the case may be, we've got the Page of Pentacles. And for the other of you, we've got the Queen of Swords. So I don't know which one you will be or which one your person will be. I know I said my intention was for this person to be you and for this person to be them, but it might be flipped, so I'm just going to refer to each individual by the card name. So this person here will be the Page of Pentacles, and this person will be the Queen of Swords. So interestingly, we have this in option 1. We've got earth energy on the one hand and air energy on the other. We also have either an age gap or a maturity gap. Okay, for a lot of you, I suspect this is a maturity gap, not an age gap. But yes, the earth energy, that's Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn, comes through as the younger person or the more inexperienced person. Someone, though, who is very interested in learning, very keen to learn, very desirous of making a way in the world for themselves. So this is someone who probably is focused on career or training, education, something like that. So whilst they are focused on that, it means that maybe they won't be, let's just say this is not someone who will be like laying up under the other person, all the time, waiting for this person, the other person, to have time for them, because they've got their own things going on. Okay? So this person brings kind of a busy energy to this relationship. And that's okay, because, having a relationship doesn't mean that you stop all the rest of your life. And it's actually good to have other interests outside of a relationship to help yourself grow and develop. And certainly this person's goals here are, educational and or professional and or financial. So it's not really in and of itself a bad thing. It just means, don't expect this to be a relationship in which these two people are just going to hang out all the time with each other, and there's nothing else going on with any of them, either one of them, other than they're just hanging out together all the time. Because you do have people like that who just want a relationship where they're always with the other person. And that's not this dynamic here that I'm seeing. Again, that's not a bad thing. And, I don't want to say I'm not putting any value judgment on it at all. This is just what it is. Now, as for this person over here, the Queen of Swords, this person is bringing air energy. That's Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And by the way, these signs don't have to be your signs or your person's signs, but these are the energies here. And I know people like to hear those, so I mention them when I remember to. But this person is wanting, I would say, to be in charge. And particularly here, it actually could work in a sense, because the Queen here comes through as being more experienced, more mature, more been there, done that, wiser, actually, and perhaps jaded. And so a thing to look out for here is that, the Queen might give some sage advice to the page at times that the page doesn't want to take on board, because the page is just out there trying to get ahead, trying to learn, trying to succeed in the world, and they may not want to hear the harsh truths that the perhaps older but definitely wiser Queen would be sharing. So that is an element of the dynamic here to consider. And so you have to make room, make space for this, just as you have to make room and make space for the idea of this ongoing negotiation between the two of you, so that things can go between the two of you, so that things can, progress or be good, be solid, be stable. Even though this suggests maybe the potential for some, just because of the friction that's involved in, coming together with someone who's very different and trying to figure out how to see eye to eye so that you can find a common ground to move forward. And as I was saying here, with these two energies being quite different, that could be potentially an issue. Specifically, one person trying to advise the other, but the other not wanting to listen or take it on. And so there needs to be an adjustment on both people's sides, understanding, the good intentions of the other person. Okay, so now let me see. Now we're going to ask, how happy would this page here be in this relationship if this relationship were to happen? We have the Fool. Let me move these cards a little so I can make room for that. Okay. And for this Queen over here, how happy would this Queen be in this relationship were to happen? We have the Knight of Cups. Okay, so with regard to our page over here, again, we get this young energy, this energy of curiosity and wanting to experience new things. And so for this page, this relationship would be exciting because it's something very new for this person. I don't know exactly what it is that's new for this person in this relationship, but as I said, it may be because this person is less mature and or younger than this person over here. The less mature and or younger person hasn't had this type of relationship before, possibly. Maybe the level of commitment or something else about the relationship is a new thing for this page. And the page is loving it, though. You know, it looks like a happy experience, but at the same time, the page recognizes, hey, you know, there may be some pitfalls along the way. So the page is not totally confident, you know, of every step that they are taking, but they're taking it anyway. And it's exhilarating to be having this new experience. Now over here for our Queen of Swords actually is quite happy in this relationship as well, because she is, there's a dedication here that she has. There's a desire to not only offer the sage advice, but to go the extra mile in making sure that this page actually does feel loved and appreciated. The Queen, interestingly, is bringing quite a lot of romance and watery energy, which, as I said, that's surprising because the Queen of Swords is air energy. But she's got this side to her that the page will get to see that is very loving, very dedicated. And she will be happy being able to provide this kind of space for the page. And by she, I mean the Queen, because, you know, these are gender neutral readings. Let me see. Okay, now let's see if we can get, is this the next thing I want to do? No, it's not. Sorry, I try to do all the decks in the same order for every option, just for uniformity's sake. So please tell us more about how happy this relationship would be if option 2 were to get into this relationship with this person. What can you tell us about how happy the relationship would be? Okay, we've got giving oneself. Yeah, that beautiful heart there, you see. And on the bottom of the deck we have giving. Wow. You know, it's funny. We were just talking about how basically giving, the Queen here, would be in this relationship, that would be an important part of the dynamic here, and that it would make the Queen very happy, and it would make the page very happy, and everybody would be happy. Here we get very specific information about how giving is central in this relationship, and that the giving here, you see, giving, it says giving oneself, and specifically the giving of one's heart to the other. one person giving their heart to the other. I assume it could go both ways. But this card here is just giving in general, and you see one person handing a gift, a wrapped gift to the other, and the other person's got all these little hearts around them. They're so thrilled to be receiving this gift. Now, it's interesting to me because both of these cards are actually depicting the same couple here. That's not always the case, but here we have the same couple, and here we have the person in yellow giving their heart to the person in the white t-shirt, but on the other card we have the person in the white t-shirt giving the gift to the person in yellow. So that shows, because I was going to say, the mutuality here, the back and forth, that this is not a one-sided dynamic, that both people are involved here in the giving. And so this will make both of you happy, is that there is a two-way giving. Now I can go back to this deck. So what is the advice for option 2 to make this relationship happier? Even happier, because it already looks happy. But what is the advice for option 2 to make this relationship happier if it were to happen? We have revival. Revival of the relationship brings deeper understanding and love. So this to me means that you would do well to be treating every day like it's your first day, or treating every date like it's your first date. Keeping the romance alive, that spark, by having a sense of freshness and newness with every experience, even if that experience is one you've had many times before with this person. Try to keep that, I don't want to say childlike wonder. We've got the page over here. But remember the magic. Don't let the magic fade. So be romantic. And it looks to me here like there's already romance. Like this is already a strong part of the relationship. So this card is just suggesting to lean into that, and you will make this relationship even happier. So now let me see. What was the question I asked with this deck? Oh, yes. Okay, so what else should option 2 know about this relationship and how happy it would be? Whoa. What else does option 2 need to know about this relationship and how happy it would be? Let me take this. We have, how do you prefer to hear I love you? Actions or words? Now, that is very interesting to me because, again, it draws my attention back to these two cards here about giving. As I said, one person gives their heart, the other person gives a gift. And with this here, should we show that we love each other through actions, or should we show it through words? And that's actually an important question to ask, because I was going to say when I was drawing these cards that it reminds me of the love languages. You may have heard of are there 6? Is that what they are? 6 love languages? Go look it up if you're not familiar with this, but and if you care to know. But one of the love languages is giving gifts. And here we have, on the one hand, a tangible gift, which is usually what that love language type is about, giving actual gifts. It's not about how expensive that gift is. It can be actually cheap or even free, but the important thing for someone with that love language is that they get to give the gifts and that the gifts get given to them. And that's how they feel that they are being loved and appreciated, and how they show their love and appreciation. Here with I love you, you can say it in words or you can say it through actions. You can give your heart or you can give a gift, and I would say, how about both? So how do you prefer to hear I love you? I think the suggestion here is that not only should you say it to each other in this relationship, but you should show it. Let it be your actions and your words. Okay, so now I'm going to see if these Scrabble cards can help me to think of a song that would be a good description of this relationship if it were to happen. So please give me 5 letters that would spell out words, abbreviations, or give me ideas regarding what song would be a song that describes how happy this relationship would be. Let's see. We have M, R, B, P, and V. Yeah. Okay, of course, this doesn't seem to spell anything. So I'm going to flip these over and see, because they're double-sided. Isn't that great? Okay, we have C, E, U, W, and M. Okay, this is interesting. The song that comes to my mind is When You're in Love with a Beautiful Woman. Who sang that? This is a song from way back. This is like, I don't know, I feel like this is from 1970s or something. If I could, I'm sorry, I'm getting songs where I don't know a lot of the lyrics or any of the lyrics hardly, but I will link that song. I'm going to have to figure out. Just making the note here. I'm going to have to figure out who sings this. For some reason I can't think of his name. Anyway, I will link the song when I figure out what it is in the description, and you can go look at the lyrics if you're so inclined to get that little bit more of information and insight regarding how this relationship would be, how happy it would be. But I am now going to end this reading here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you found this reading helpful, entertaining, interesting, insightful in any way, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to help it grow, and or give this video a thumbs up. Thank you again for joining me. I'm going to move on now to option 3. Okay. Next. Oh. Okay, hello there. Sorry. Option 3. If you chose this card, so proud of you. This will be your reading. Again, today we are answering the question, how happy would you be if you were to be together with this person in a relationship? So let's start with getting the overall energy of this relationship. If option 3 were to get into a relationship with the person on their mind, what would that relationship be like? What would be the overarching general energy of that relationship? We have death. Okay, so I think that, don't be scared. I don't think this is about literal death, but it is about some major life change. This would be life changing if you were to be in a romantic relationship with this person. It would be as though you, and probably your person as well, could literally think of your life or talk about your life in terms of before this relationship and after this relationship. Like if this relationship were to take place, it would be a major milestone, and it would define all that's come before it and all that comes after it. This might be a relationship that could really go the distance and last until death do you part. Whether you formalize it by getting officially or legally married or not. Let's see. What else did I want to look at? Okay, so now I'm going to draw one card for you and one card for them. And what I want to see is what energy each of you would be bringing to this relationship. So what energy would option 3 be bringing to this relationship if it were to happen? Okay, we'll just go with that then. And what energy would option 3's person be bringing to this relationship? There you go with that one. Okay. Let's see. Oh, and before I turn these, I should mention that I drew this card for you and I drew this card for your person, but those energies might be flipped. That's okay. I'm just going to refer to the people here by what's on the cards. So for you or for your person, as the case may be, we have the Queen of Wands. And for the other person here, whether that's your person or you, we have the Knight of Wands. Okay, so this is the first pairing so far that has matching energy. This is fire energy on both sides. Fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So one or both of you may be fire sign, sun, moon, or rising, but it doesn't have to be the case. There's just fiery energy coming in through here, or coming in here. So with one of you being a queen and one of you being a knight, it could be a slight age or maturity gap. We've been seeing that so far in this reading. I wouldn't make a whole lot of it necessarily, especially here because the two of you are coming through in the same fiery energy. So this is energy of action and excitement, passion, okay? So this is likely to be a very, I would say, very physically active type of pairing, if you know what I mean. Keeping it PG, y'all. So this would be a very amorous connection. And I see that both of you would be bringing a great deal of appreciation for those particular adult activities. Now, I'm not saying that's all there will be to this relationship. You know, we're going to get some more details as this reading goes on. But this is the first energy. And I'm kind of struck by it and not really sure what all to say other than that. But the good news is that, you know, it's not a boring or dull relationship. Neither of you is a dull or boring person. And so there'll always be something interesting going on. And not just, you know, in the bedroom, but also just everyday life. You know, everyday life. I would see maybe the two of you might enjoy doing some kind of, like I said, very physically active types of things, maybe outdoor activities as well as the bedroom activities. You might enjoy traveling together. You might enjoy just going to new places and doing new things and meeting new people and just, you know, just loving life. You know, so this is very positive, I think, very positive energy. The only thing I could say is that maybe sometimes because you are almost like two alike, you might butt heads, and then you probably have your, you know, spectacular type of blow-ups. But that's okay because, you know, usually with fire, I mean, like, yeah, you can have like an explosion, but then things calm down pretty quickly after that. And so in the aftermath, the good news is that the two of you will be on the same page because you understand each other because you're both that way. So this is, the two of you here have some things in common that would allow you to maybe argue hard, but also forgive pretty easily, I would think. And we've already gone over how you would play hard. Okay, so let me see. Let's see what else. So tell us, how happy would this Queen of Wands be in this relationship if it were to happen? We have the Three of Cups. And for this Knight of Wands, how happy would the Knight of Wands be in this relationship if it were to happen? We have the Hanged One, which is the Hanged Man. Okay, so here with the Queen of Wands, we see that the Queen would be very happy in this relationship. It would be a lot of fun for this Queen. We already talked about all the activities here, and that's right up her alley. She would bring a sense of joy and festivity. She would feel like it was, I'll say it was a non-stop party, but but just, you know, like a good time all the time. For the Knight here, things are perhaps a bit more mellow, shall we say, which is interesting because it's the Knight of Wands. But I think this is saying that this Knight of Wands would experience this relationship as one in which he would be able, and that's whether this Knight is a he or a she. I just use he because it's a Knight. But these readings are meant to be gender neutral. For the Knight, this relationship could help him to see things and life in general from a different perspective. It could help him to not sweat the small stuff, you know. What did Prince say? Excuse me, the artist formerly known as Prince, in the song 1999. Interestingly, that's coming through. Party like it's 1999 because because like the two of you here, this is like party energy. We even got like a party card over here with Three of Cups. But as the artist formerly known as Prince did say in that song, life is just a party, and parties weren't meant to last. So, you know, enjoy what you've got while you've got it. You know, live life to the fullest. And I feel like the two of you would do that, and you would help each other to be able to embrace that, lean into it more. At the same time, though, this does seem like a somewhat chill energy here, like I said, on the part of the Knight, and that's kind of not what you would expect here. But I think maybe what it's saying is that for the Knight, there would be happiness here in that the Queen would help the Knight to relax more, you know, because, again, enjoy what you've got while you've got it. Live life to the fullest while you can. Okay. So let's see, what card is next? I think it's these. I think that this, I'm trying to do these all in order, the same order for each option. So please tell us, how happy would this relationship be between option 3 and their person if this relationship were to happen? We have feeling unwanted. We also have falling in love. Okay, I'm happy to see the falling in love. Okay, makes sense considering all the excitement and joy that we're talking about in this connection. However, the feeling unwanted is a little strange. It does not really go with the rest of the reading, except maybe this Hanged One card, because there's some reason why, like I didn't mention, maybe the Knight is holding back somehow, even though the Queen is very encouraging and very much helping this knight to grow. There's still something where the knight is not, I don't know, there's a hesitation. And maybe that's why this card came out. Because maybe the knight somehow ends up feeling unwanted. Now that's really strange, falling in love card. But what I'll say is that for someone who maybe has self-esteem issues or was not shown unconditional love as a child, feeling unwanted is probably triggered when they're in a, love situation. Not because the other person doesn't actually love them, not because the other person somehow doesn't want them, but because of the baggage that they themselves bring. Okay, this is like almost like they've been programmed, as it were, to expect to be not loved and not accepted. And so they, as soon as love feelings arise, right alongside them arise feelings of fear and feelings of self-doubt, feelings of panic perhaps, because, oh no, this person is not going to love me. I just know they aren't. And there's no indication that they're not going to love you. It's just how you've been programmed due to this, childhood conditioning. And I see here at the bottom of the deck we have trust. So what's going on here is that this relationship is quite happy. Don't get me wrong. But there is an element here of someone not quite being able to accept fully the love that's being shown, the love that's being given, the love that's being offered. I mean, there's love here, there's abundant love here, but somebody can't quite receive it. So this is one thing that the two of you might face, and that the two of you would be able to help each other with. Because once the person who is afraid of being rejected can be made to trust that the other person is not going to abandon them, then beautiful things can blossom. So, but that will take time, and that will take effort and patience on the part of the person who's not bringing that issue. So now I want to see, I guess that's actually a good segue for this question. What can option 3 do to make this relationship happier if this relationship happens? We have vows. Vows are the bridges between hearts. That actually makes a lot of sense here, because we were just talking about how someone needs to develop trust, and the way that they will develop trust is if the other person shows themselves to be trustworthy and is patient and is there for the long haul. And we were already talking about how this relationship could go the distance. But the key here to helping this other person feel wanted and trust is to say what you mean what you say, keep your promises. And I'm not saying that, you're someone who doesn't keep your promises or anything. I'm not saying that in any kind of accusatory manner. I'm simply pointing out that that is one way for the two of you to address this issue, this dynamic here. This dynamic that is that is part of otherwise a very happy relationship here. Let's see. Now I want to see if there's anything else that option 3 should know about this relationship and how happy it would be. Is there anything else? What else should option 3 know about this relationship, this potential relationship, and how happy it would be? We have, what is something you're excited about in your life right now? Well, there you go. We talked about how exciting this whole thing is. So here, this notion that there's never a dull moment in this relationship, or there never would be a dull moment in this relationship, is coming back to the fore. There's no advice here. It's just, underscoring what we've already covered. That this will be a very bright and exciting relationship. Something that both of you will be excited about, something both of you will draw inspiration from, something that will just stoke the fires within these two respective people who are already fiery. Okay, let's see. It reminds me actually of a quote. I don't remember who said it, but someone said, "Life is fiery in its beauty." The two of you will be able to see and experience that together, or would be able to. Okay, so now I'm going to see if I can think up a song. I'm going to draw 5 of these Scrabble cards here to will hopefully spell out something that will bring to my mind a song that would describe this relationship. Whoa, I'm not taking those. Come on. I didn't even ask the question yet. I'm just explaining what I'm about to do. Okay. All right. So please give me 5 cards that will spell out abbreviations or words or phrases or bring anything to mind for me that would indicate a song, a particular song that describes how this relationship would be and how happy it would be. Okay, so we have N. Sorry about the noise in the background. We've got a blank Scrabble card. Woo. We've got F. We've got G. And we've got another, oh my goodness, another blank card. Unheard of. Okay. So we got N and blank and F and G and blank. Okay, this is not giving me anything, so I'm going to flip these over because they're two-sided. We have H and blank again, of course, and R and D and blank. Okay, I'm surprised this song is coming through. It's a song by Sananda, Maitreya. I don't remember the name. I think the name of it must be "What Shall I Do?" Believers go, "What shall I do if you were to run away with me forever? What shall I do if the only thing that time would change is weather?" He goes on to say, "How can I retrieve my heart if you leave?" And that goes back again to this person being afraid, someone here being afraid maybe to love fully or just to accept love because of some kind of maybe past or childhood conditioning. But I'm going to link that song in the description. It's very romantic, but also it's got this kind of sad, as I was saying, with one of you here having some, some issue to work on. But yeah, let me just make note of that. And I'll link that. And you can go check out the lyrics some more and get a sense of what this relationship would be like. Okay, so I'm going to end it here for you, option 3. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this reading and would like to see more content like this or help my little baby channel out, please subscribe to the channel and or give this video a thumbs up. Thank you again. I'm going to move on now to option 4. Hello there, option 4. If you chose you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think, this will be your reading. Again, we are answering the question today, how happy would you be together if you were to be together in a relationship? So let's start by getting the overall energy of what this relationship would be like. You know, if you were to get into this relationship with this person on your mind. So for option 4, what would this relationship be like? Please give me one card to describe what this relationship would be like. We have, what is that? The Empress? Yeah, I guess that's the Empress. Okay. Nice. Okay, so option 4. This relationship would be very loving, very supportive. It would be a very peaceful relationship, one in which the two of you provide a safe space for each other. This could be a very fertile relationship, not only in the sense of, you know, procreating humans, but it could also be a fertile ground for creativity for you, for them, for both of you, perhaps working together or collaborating. But yeah, this is a very nice energy. So the dynamic here, well, we'll see more about the dynamic, but the relationship itself looks, so far, this looks like a happy type of relationship, a happy, stable relationship in which, you know, both people want to be there. Both people are committed. Let me see. What's my next deck? Okay, here we go. So now I'm going to draw one card for you and one card for your person to see what each one of you would be, what energy each one of you would be bringing to this relationship if this relationship were to happen. So for option 4, what energy would they be bringing to this relationship if it were to happen? And for option 4's person, what energy would option 4's person be bringing to this relationship if it were to happen? Okay. So before I flip these, I should mention that even though I drew this one with the intention that this would describe you, and this one with the intention that it would describe your person, this energy actually, or these energies, could be flipped. So if this doesn't sound like you, but sounds like your person, then, you know, go with that. But yeah, I'm just going to refer to these cards by what's on them, what the cards are called, instead of saying you or them, okay? Just in case the energies are flipped. So let's see, for this person over here, okay, what energy will they be bringing to this relationship? We have the King of Cups. And for this person over here on the right, what energy would they be bringing? They would be bringing the Knight of Cups. Okay, so here, first off, well, two things. I see here we have two masculines. So this could be a same-sex relationship, whether both people are masculines or feminines. But that doesn't have to be the case. It just so happens that here, so far, we hadn't had another combination like this, wherein we have two masculines, or two people depicted on the cards of being of the same sex. So the other interesting thing here is that these two energies are watery. These are cups energies. So the cups represent the zodiac signs of Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So one or both of you could be one of those signs or more of those signs, sun, moon, and rising, but that doesn't have to be the case. I'm just pointing them out because I know like there are people who like to hear it. And there you go. But yes, back to the watery energy here. So this, we already said that this is a caring relationship. It's a stable one. You know, there's mutuality here. There's love, there's support, and all of that is like watery stuff. You know, water represents the emotions. So certainly, both of you and this person, or whichever one of you is represented by this card or that card, I'm saying both of you are looking emotionally invested and fulfilled in this relationship. I also love to see here, and I don't think we'd seen that so far, but these two are looking at each other. So again, there is this mutuality. Again, there is this great interest in each other, this caring, this support. So here this person is like holding their cup out towards the other person. And so that is, of course, a Knight thing. Or a Knight of Cups thing, I should say. But so there is an offering here of love, of romance, of emotions. And this person is looking and is receptive to that. Now, there could be a bit of an age gap here, like we've seen in previous readings. It doesn't have to be the case. There may just be a maturity gap. One person is here, this person over here maybe is older and wiser, older and or wiser than the person over here. But that in no way diminishes the heart that this person brings to this relationship. Because this person is eager, and this person is very romantic over here. And this person sees that and delights in it. This person, as I was saying, is receptive. They welcome these romantic gestures that this person over here is bringing. So this is, actually, there's a song already coming through. I don't know if we'll get one later or not. For you, option 4, it's called Never Too Busy by Kenny Lattimore. So I'm going to link that in the description if you want to check out the lyrics and or song, because I think it could describe a major dynamic between the two of you. But the song, as you can probably tell from the title, is basically about how two people who are happy and in love, you know, like one person, yes, they've got things going on with their job, with their work, with their career, with their, you know, responsibilities publicly or whatever, but they are never, ever too busy for their beloved. And I feel like that is what the dynamic would be between you and your person, option 4, if you were to get into a relationship. You would always have time for each other. You would always make time for each other. Okay, now I'm going to ask for our King of Cups over here. How happy would the King of Cups be in this relationship? Okay, we have the 3 of Swords. We will talk about that momentarily. And how happy would the Knight of Cups be in this relationship? We have the 7 of Swords. Wow. You know, after all the things I've said, I really wasn't expecting that at all. Wasn't expecting that at all. So the King of Cups, there's something that the King of Cups would have to face here in this relationship. Um, I think that this is about the King of Cups, though. I feel like this is not exactly what I asked. It's interesting. I mean, I feel like the King of Cups is bringing to the relationship certain baggage, certain maybe things that the King of Cups has turned a blind eye to in the past. And so when or if the King of Cups and the Knight here were to get into a relationship, the King of Cups would suddenly have to face some hard truths about their past relationships and how those past relationships maybe were really lacking. Maybe that people in this king's past really weren't there for them, really weren't right for them, really didn't care about them, and yet the King of Cups was kind and generous and warm and loving towards these past partners. And so now it's almost like the king has to deal with this realization in the midst of finally getting to see what a good relationship really is like and really ought to be like. And so this is, I think, about the king having to deal with these revelations within himself. And by himself, I mean, it could be a male or female person who's being represented here. So these are gender neutral, but I'm referring to the king as a he because, that's conventional. And here we'd be referring to the knight as a he as well, but, change the gender however you need to. But anyway, there's almost this sense here that being in a loving relationship opens up these old wounds for the king. And because of that, there's almost something bittersweet that kind of casts its, I wasn't going to say shadow, but casts a haze over this connection, which is otherwise really lovely. But it's not the relationship itself that is the source of the pain per se. It's the poor treatment in the past. And now the king has to deal with that and think about that. It's bringing it up, this loving relationship. Isn't that interesting? Sometimes that kind of dynamic happens because we need for these things to resurface so that we can heal them. They get repressed at the time because for some reason mentally and or emotionally we're not able or ready to deal with them. Sometimes life is coming at you at 100 miles an hour and you got 1,000 other things to do, or just to get through you have to shut off certain experiences and feelings, and some people go so far as to repress memories. Okay, but in order to just keep going, in order to just keep moving forward, sometimes you turn that blind eye to things, or you just blessedly forget, shall we say. Because if you were to remember, if you were to dwell on it, it would be debilitating. So understand here that this king is really going through some kind of processing of trauma in a way here, or would be, because of this connection and how good it is. You've heard of people crying tears of joy. This is the kind of energy I've got here. So that's maybe why we get such a dramatic card here as the King of Swords. It's not that this relationship is bad or that this person feels hurt or betrayed by, this partner. No, this is about what the king brings to and what gets brought up, what resurfaces. Now, as for the knight here, interestingly, we also have, again, swords energy, and I should mention that swords energy is air energy. It's about mental activity, thoughts, logic, and reason. And here, there's a suggestion that maybe our knight has a secret. But I wonder what it is. So I'm going to see if I can query that. Because that's interesting. How happy will they be? Well, what is it, a secret? How happy they'll be? I hope not. So we're trying to find out, because that was the question. So why is this here? I mean, I asked how happy the knight would be in this relationship. You give me 7 of swords. What do you mean by 7 of swords here? And we got weak and cowardly. I don't want to put that on his face. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, and look, it was at the bottom of the deck. Family issues. So it looks like both of you come to this relationship with, experiences from the past. Of course, everybody does. Everybody's got something. But this relationship is allowing it's a safe space, like I was talking about earlier. So these things are being dredged up from, I guess, the unconscious or something, repressed memories and everything. And here we see that this is a family issue for this person. Is that despite the love and the support and all of this, this person is being triggered by this goodness. This person is afraid. Despite how good this is, they are probably afraid that this will end badly. They're probably afraid that they are wearing rose-colored glasses, that this is too good to be true. They're afraid, a part of them, honestly, what they're hiding. I said that, they've got a secret. What they could be hiding is that they're not sure that they can stick with this. Isn't that interesting? I mean, because this is so good, right? So why do they have this strange feeling? Well, we said it's because of some family issue. This person they expect to fail. And when they do, they blame themselves. And or if they were to fail, they would blame themselves. But they already, if they were to get into this relationship, they would already be in that mindset, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Terrified, actually. And then also afraid that because of that fear, they themselves may actually self-sabotage by doing something to mess this glorious beauty up. They would be worried about that. Wow. Wow, option 4. That's deep. Wasn't expecting that in such a, I thought this was going to be, I wanted things to, my expectation was that we will get light and shade, that this was going to be realistic. I didn't want to do a fluffy popcorn or fluffy candy corn. Candy corn? No. Fluffy cotton candy type of reading for this. As if you heard the intro, you know that one of my viewers suggested this reading. It's a great topic. I wanted to do it justice. But anyway, let's move on and let's see what else we can find out here. This is so interesting, option 4. So if option 4 and this person were to get into a relationship, how happy would that relationship be? How happy would the relationship be if option 4 were to get into this relationship with this person? Okay, we have jealousy. Sorry about the atmosphere background noise. There's several things going on here. Also, self-worth. Self-worth. We're already talking about this in a way. You know, this idea that someone here may self-sabotage because they don't feel good enough, and they're not sure they're strong enough to keep living with this anxiety that this beauty is going to be taken away from them. Here, so we've got two serious cards here: jealousy and self-worth. So these would be things to work on. Option 4. Jealousy is somewhat self-explanatory, but it's surprising, again, considering how beautiful the connection itself is. And yet, there's this jealousy issue. There's this issue wherein one person thinks, because that's the thing, as this card is depicting, one person thinks that the other person is, you know, interested in someone else, some third party, checking out people just walking by. But of course, this person over here is holding hands with this other person, on the path with this other person, not moving towards this other person over here. You know, it's more so that this person glanced over and saw another person. That doesn't mean that this person is like, oh, now they're plotting to leave me. But that is like the conclusion that their partner jumps to, because their partner is insecure. And we were talking about this, somebody here, or maybe both people, are bringing, you know, these issues that are rising up to the surface to be addressed and healed. And at the same time, we got this element of jealousy coming through, simply because someone's afraid that someone else is going to leave. So this needs to be addressed, and hopefully we can get some details on how you can address that as this reading goes on. Now, for the self-worth issue, it's kind of a similar thing. It actually goes hand in hand with it, because as I said, someone is feeling somehow like they're not good enough to hold on to this good thing. So self-worth needs to be developed. Now let's see, what is the advice for option 4 to make this a happy relationship, or to make this a happier relationship? What is the advice for option 4? We have memory. Treasure every shared memory, shining like jewels. You know, that's actually very good advice, because, you know, the two of you should definitely keep these good times in mind. And it says shining like jewels. I mean, it sounds to me like you would have many jewels, an embarrassment of riches here, from which to draw and to hug each one to you and revel in order to, I would say, maybe reset or reprogram your mind so that you stop being afraid that the other person isn't really going to be there for you, or they're going to turn out just like all the rest, or they're going to treat you like your family did or didn't, as the case may be, or fill in the blank with, you know, the doomsday prediction that one or both people here would be thinking of in their minds. You know, combat that with cherishing these memories, dwelling on these memories. You know, what is it? I think the Bible says, what is it? Whatsoever a man thinks, so is he. So think about what you want this relationship to be, and it will be that, because there's so much going for it. I want to look at the bottom of the deck here also. We have inheritance. Learn from the past, inherit wisdom for the future. Yes, learn from the past. Remember that the past is the past. It's what happened before. It was with other people in other situations. That is not the now. That is not this other person. Okay, so now let's see if we can get you, let me see, no, actually we've got that advice. Let me see if there's anything else here. Is there anything else that option 4 needs to know about this relationship and how happy it would be? Is there anything else? Option 4 needs to know. We have, in what ways could we improve our quality time together? Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so I mean, I would think your quality time would be pretty good, actually. But with these concerns and the jealousy and self-worth issues, I would think that improving your quality time together would only make your bond stronger. Okay, so that people don't start freaking out and having anxieties about being abandoned or left or anything like that. As we said, think about the now. Leave the past in the past. Don't let the past dictate your present or future. And yes, spending that quality time together would definitely help to combat it, because you would have more and more time together to just absorb each other's good vibes, and the more time you spend together, the more you can solidify the idea that this person is here and that they're here for you. And that goes both ways. I'm not just talking to you, option 4, as though somehow you are responsible for this whole thing, but you're the one who's here listening. So that's what I was saying. Hey, if you do get into a relationship with this this person here, feel free to redirect them over here to this reading so they can listen to it at a future date. And maybe it would be helpful for them to do that too. So now I'd like to take our Scrabble dice, and I'm going to pull 5 cards and see if I can spell out anything, any words, phrases, abbreviations, or what have you, to bring forth a song that describes how happy this relationship would be. So please give me 5 cards to that effect, please. We have F, oh, well, that's new, S, wow, and T. Okay, let me flip these over and see if I can get something. We have B, R, N, O, E. Okay, so when I was looking at the first side, the first, before I turn these over, the strangest song came into my head. I'm going to look it up. For some reason in this reading, I'm getting songs that I don't have a lot of familiarity with. So I'll hear part of it, and that's all, because I kind of hear the melody and everything, but I don't know what the words are. So I'm going to look this song up before I say it, because I'm like, what in the world? Is this really relevant? I mean, I hope it is, but let's see. This is going to be fun. Excuse me. Okay, I'm going to give you this song, which is so crazy to me, but there is a song, and you've probably heard it before maybe. It's called Splish, Splash. That's what came to me. I did not realize this was necessarily a romantic song, but it might have a message in here for you. It's by Bobby Darin. I'm going to link that in the description in case you want to go check out the lyrics or just go listen to the song. This is interesting. I'm looking through the lyrics here. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure why this song, maybe if you go and read the lyrics of this song and this somehow makes sense to you, like why that came through, please come back to this video and explain it to me, because I do not understand why that came through, but there it is. I am faithfully reporting it to you. So what was the name of that? Splish Splash. I'm going to write that down. And I wish I had another one because, like I said, I'm like, what the heck? Uh, hmm. I mean, just so you'll see how strange this is. I mean, it starts out, Splish Splash. I was taking a bath long about a Saturday night. Rub dub, just relaxing in the tub, thinking everything was all right. So, like I said, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, the song goes on to talk about some other stuff, so maybe it's relevant. Um, but hmm. Another weird. I don't know why you're getting weird songs. Option 4. What the heck? Okay, I'm gonna link it in the description. Santa Claus is coming to town. Okay. Wow. I have no idea. I have no idea why these songs, those two songs, I don't know. But like I said, I'm gonna put them out there. So you come back and tell me, please, how in the world these songs would be relevant here for describing how happy your relationship is. Even though I would say Santa Claus is coming to town, I guess that is a pretty happy song, like, you know. So okay, I'm going to end your reading here, option 4. Thank you so much for joining me. If you found this reading helpful, insightful, interesting, entertaining, etc., please subscribe to the channel to help my little baby channel grow, please. And also give this video a thumbs up to help it out in the YouTube algorithm. Thank you again for joining me. Hello there, option 5. If you chose what an amazing job, this will be your reading. Again, we are answering the question, how happy would you be in this relationship with this person if you were to be in a relationship with this person? So let's get started by looking at the overarching energy of this relationship. If option 5 were to be in a relationship with this person, please describe what that relationship would be like in one card, please. We have the Lovers. Well, okay. Let's see, is that okay? I think that's okay. I was just checking to make sure it's not YouTube unfriendly. Okay. So with the Lovers here, we have a suggestion of two people who are trying to decide. Well, actually, it's not necessarily that two people are trying to decide. Don't know how familiar you are with, tarot history. This deck is a type of Marseille deck, Tarot de Marseille. It's a very old tarot deck. I think it's Italian. Is it Italian? Why does it have the name Marseille? Maybe is it French? It's Italian. I don't know why I thought it was Italian. But anyway, I don't know. It's European, and it's from like, I don't know if it's from the 17th century or the 18th century. But anyway, this depiction of the Lovers here is perhaps a bit different than what we are typically shown, or used to, I should say, from the Rider-Waite-Smith decks, and those derived therefrom. In the Marseille deck, we have the Lovers here being depicted with two women flanking a man in the middle. One of them seems to be grabbing the man by the chest, and the other is trying to reach out and get his attention. He's looking at one and not the other, but the one he's not looking at looks kind of, not too happy there about it. So this is a situation of triangulation. This is a situation, as I said, someone's trying to maybe make a decision. Someone, I feel like maybe for some reason there's some kind of third party here. And it doesn't have to be another romantic interest, okay? So let me just say that to begin with. It could be any number of things. I mean, symbolically, it could be the person, somebody's got a job, or somebody's got a child from another relationship, or somebody's got an interfering parent, or someone, I don't know, they have some other circumstance in their life that takes their attention away from the relationship, and so they're having constantly to negotiate. How am I going to fulfill the expectations over here and the expectations in the relationship over there? So this card comes through to indicate that there's some kind of something. I don't want to say it's in the way, but it's something that someone here has to, as I said, there's a juggling almost here, like somebody's balancing something with the relationship, I should say, with something else. So that's very interesting. Option 5. Let's see what we get as we continue. So for option 5, tell me what energy would option 5 bring to this relationship if it were to happen? And what energy would option 5's person bring to this relationship if it were to happen? Okay. So now I pulled this card for you and this card for your person, but keep in mind that the energy might be flipped, so you might end up relating to this side as being you instead of that one. And that's okay. So I'm going to refer to each side not as you and your person, but instead as whatever the cards are named. Okay, so we can try to keep it straight that way. So for this person, what energy will they be bringing to this relationship? We have the King of Wands. Okay, and for this person over here, what energy would they be bringing to this relationship? We have the King of Pentacles. Okay, so we have here another same-sex couple. Now, you and your person don't have to be same-sex here, but that is being mentioned in case there are any viewers for whom that is the case. That might be a confirmation of sorts that you have landed upon the correct reading. We had one other option so far that was like that. So if you were attracted to another one, that may be the case there too. But anyway, regardless of what your situation is, we do have two masculines here. So that energy suggests that both people are go-getters. Both people are independent. Both people are initiating, take charge. And because they're both kings, they're on the same level. So they would be peers and not, say, like someone who is up here while someone else is down there. There would not be a status imbalance, in other words. We do, though, have an energetic difference here, because on the left we have a King of Wands, that's fire energy, and on the right we have the King of Pentacles, which is earth energy. Fire and earth are not harmoniously disposed, generally speaking. For the fire signs, we have Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. For the earth signs, which is this Pentacles energy here, we have Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. I'm sorry, I meant to say here the fiery energy is Wands energy, and that was the Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Okay, So you and your person may have those signs going on in your charts, your astrological charts, but you may not, and that's okay. These are just the energies coming through. But as I said, these energies are not harmoniously disposed. So there could be some clashing here. These people have very different ways of approaching things, and very different, in a sense, very different values, very, very different, uh, very different mindsets. Despite having the similarity, as I was talking about before, of both being kings, they can at least relate to, in that sense, that they are on the same level, that they are peers, that they are of the same status. But I'll also say here that we have the King of Wands looking at the King of Pentacles, but the King of Pentacles is looking away and not towards the King of Wands. So the energy that this person over here is bringing is one of great interest in the other person over here, the Pentacles person. But the Pentacles person seems distracted. And that goes back to what we were saying before, that somebody's got more than one thing going on and they have to juggle that other thing with the relationship. I suspect it's this person. It's this Pentacles person who has something else going on. So let me see. Now I want to look at the meat of this reading. How happy these two people would be in this relationship. So for the King of Wands over here, how happy would the King of Wands be in this relationship? Sorry about the atmospheric noise, by the way. We have the Five of Discs. Okay, and how happy, that's interesting, how happy would the King of Pentacles be over here in this relationship? If this relationship were to happen, we have the Ace of Swords. Okay, so what's interesting to me here is that we've got the Earth energy coming through to describe the fiery King, instead of the Earth energy coming through to describe the Pentacles King, which would be like a match. And then the Pentacles King over here actually has this air energy coming through. Air is Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. So it seems that this person over here might struggle in this relationship, because there's a sense maybe, hey, my person's attention is divided. And that might lead this King person over here to feel, well, not only neglected somewhat, but maybe even like they aren't important enough to the Pentacles person. So there's a mild sense here. You know, we'll see what comes through as the reading goes on. A mild sense on the part of the King of Wands that maybe they're having to vie for the attention of the King of Pentacles. And it's somehow not working to the King of Wands' satisfaction, because the King of Wands feels maybe like they're having to try too hard to get and keep the attention of the King of Pentacles over here. Now, as for the King of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles is very clear on his, and I say his because it's a king, but your person may be male or female, or this person, I should say, may be male or female, because that could be you. So whoever this is, they could be male or female. But the king seems actually very clear-headed, very clear about what this relationship is and is not, and they're okay with that. So this is a dynamic here, option 5, in which there's a certain lopsidedness You know, one person maybe feels like they are being neglected or ignored to some extent, not totally, by the other. And the other says, well, it is what it is. You know, I've got these responsibilities or this other something that I have to juggle with this relationship. And so, you know, I'm aware of that and I'm okay with that and I understand that. And I also maybe know that my partner isn't thrilled about it, but what do you do? And that's kind of the attitude of the King of Pentacles over here. So, yeah, as for how happy either one of these people here is, it seems to me that the King is okay. The King of Pentacles is, you know, okay because they've got these realistic expectations. Whereas the King of Wands over here is maybe struggling more with the way things are or the way things would be in this relationship. Now let me see. I think I do this one next. Yes. Okay. So now let's see. Get some more information here. How happy of a relationship would this be between option 5 and their person if option 5 were to get into a relationship with this person? How happy would it be? We have self-consciousness. We also have risk. Oh, interesting. Okay. So yeah, I think that there's someone here. It looks like it's the King of Wands person. We were talking about how they might feel neglected or even somewhat like, hey, somehow I'm not good enough to keep the attention of my partner. And there might be a sense of some bit of rejection there. And so for, I think here, the King of Wands person, there is a risk. And they do perhaps, or they would, I should say, feel like, I don't know, I'm out on a limb here. I don't know how stable of ground I'm on with this King of Pentacles, who, as like I said, seems like very blasé and is like, well, it is what it is, as I was saying. And so that makes the King of Wands, I think, the one who's probably self-conscious here, because when you have a partner who's not acknowledging that there's a problem, then at some point the implication becomes that you are the problem. And so you could see how the self-doubt could creep in. I mean, there's maybe an element of gaslighting even with that. I don't want to put that label on our King of Pentacles, though. I don't know that the King of Pentacles is doing something that is in and of itself nefarious, or that is, what would you call it? I can't say that this King of Pentacles is actively sabotaging this relationship or anything, or that the King of Pentacles doesn't care about the King of Wands. I can't say any of that. I'm just saying that this King of Pentacles is very realistic and accepting of the situation. They are the reason for the dynamic here that's being brought through in this reading. But it just maybe doesn't really sit very well with our King of Wands. And so the King of Wands is the one who is basically probably feeling more vulnerable here. So now let's see, what advice do we have for option 5 if they were to get into this relationship? How could option 5 make this relationship happier? What could option 5 do to make this relationship happier? We have recommit. Reaffirm your commitment after trials, proving love's resilience. Interesting. And here we've got, looks like, I guess, a remarriage ceremony type of thing. They got the kids there and everything. So your advice here, option 5, is to take stock. Try and remember why you got into this relationship in the first place. I mean, like, if it becomes a relationship, you would do well. Of course, this is, hypothetical type advice. But you would do well to remember why you got involved with this person, why you got into this relationship in the first place. And the key idea here is commitment. You are there because you committed. You are there because the other person committed. So now you have to decide whether you want to keep that commitment, or whether you feel that the other person has broken the commitment, and so now that breach entitles you to leave. Not exactly a wondrous, I'll say not a wonderful, maybe concept to encounter in this type of reading, but as I've told other groups, that my intention was to keep these readings realistic, and that's definitely, I think, playing out, is realism here. So this reading is really a chance for you to assess things and decide how you want to proceed if given the opportunity. You're seeing here, as I said, hypotheticals. So it'd be up to you and the other person to work on and work through whatever the issues are, if you were going to be together. No relationship is perfect, but some relationships are worth working on. And of course, what's worth it to you may be different than what's worth it to someone else, and that's okay. You should choose what's best for you. It's interesting, though, because here I was just talking about these things, and I look on the bottom of this deck here, and we have release. Release the burdens of the past. Let love fly free. So I guess the advice here is, if you feel you can't commit or shouldn't commit, or that your person's not committed enough, of course, you are free to release this. Okay, let me see. So what else should option 5 know about this relationship, if this relationship were to happen, and how happy it would be? What else does option 5 need to know about that? We have, how would we design our ideal play date as adults in love? Oh, interesting. And that comes right under this recommit card. We got these little kids there. That's interesting. Play date. I actually feel like that is almost like piggybacking on the advice, actually, because there needs to be a sense of play, I think, introduced here. That could very likely help to make this a relationship that's happier, is if you carve out this time that is set aside just for the two of you. As I said, there's this other person here, whoever this person is, whether that's you or the other person, I should say, that has other commitments. So it is a matter of making time for each other and spending quality time with each other, so that you can strengthen the bond, so that one person doesn't feel neglected. Okay, so now I'm going to see if I can bring forth a song for you, a song that describes how happy this relationship would be. I'm going to just pull 5 cards here, these Scrabble cards, and see if I can spell anything out that brings anything to mind for me. Please give me 5 cards to, please give me 5 cards to that effect, please. We have I, R, E, C, and S. Oops, sorry. Let me move this down. Okay, song that's coming through here is Cry for You by Jodeci. That's kind of, well, I would say an unexpected song here. I will link it in the description in case you want to go check out the lyrics. It might be relevant for describing the dynamic here and how happy the relationship be. Unfortunately, I mean, the word here, cry, I mean, like it's there. There's deep love and connection here expressed in this song, but also this sadness. And it is interesting, the song begins, it's been hours since you've been gone, and that's too long, so come back home. So, again, there's an emphasis here on this idea that someone has divided responsibilities and they're not maybe able to put as much time into being just together with the other person, the person they're in the relationship with. Um, but yeah, so go check that out if you are so inclined and want to know more. Okay, option 5, thus concludes your reading. So if you enjoyed this reading, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and or give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to move on now to option 6. Oh, okay. Okay. Hello there, option 6. Last but not least, if you chose embrace what makes you different, this will be your reading. Let's see. So the question we are answering today is, if you were to get into a relationship with this person, how happy would it be? So first of all, we are going to start by getting one card to describe the overall energy of this relationship if it were to happen. So if option 6 were to get into this relationship with this person on their mind, tell us in one card what that relationship would be like. Okay, we have the moon. Okay, so with the moon card here, there's a very interesting thing going on. It seems something I never noticed before. Here, and this is like a Marseille-inspired deck here, tarot deck. But anyway, we've got the face of the moon here, right, with the sun. And this actually looks more like a daytime scene than a nighttime scene, which is what we're used to in the Rider-Waite Smith deck. So this is like new moon energy to me, with the sun and moon together, like an eclipse. So maybe it's like a solar eclipse even though actually there's daytime outside, so maybe it's just a regular new moon. but anyway, that's interesting because here we get the sun and the moon and the combining primordial solar and lunar energies, suggesting the eternal man, woman, male, female dance that we see throughout the animal world and in nature and among humans. This coming together and moving apart of the two sexes, male and female. And I wonder here if this is indicating that there is some uncertainty about this relationship if it were to happen. How long it would last, how you would come together, when you would come together, whether it would just be cyclical, whether this would need to be a secret relationship or one that's low-key and that is not being broadcast, not having so much of a public face, at least in the beginning, that there's something maybe stealthy or even treacherous about exposure. So I wonder if we're dealing here, option 6, with a secret relationship or a relationship that for whatever reason, starts in this kind of quiet way or would need to move in silence for whatever reason. But again, that there's this primal attraction between you and this person that brings you together regardless of whatever would maybe circumstantially or culturally or societally would discourage you from getting together. And maybe those things, actually now I'm mentioning them, are reasons why there would be this differentness. It's funny. You chose this card, embrace what makes you different. Maybe this is going to be a different kind of relationship. If you were to come together with them and be in a relationship, it would be different in some kind of way. I do see, though, with the moon, there could be romance, even though that's not the main vibe I was getting. But of course, this is a romantic relationship, so there's something here that's romantic, obviously. I know that some interpretations for the moon card can indicate romance, but I feel like the main theme here is, like I said, like the undercover, the secret, the uncertain elements. Okay, let me see. What would I like to look at next? All right, now I'm going to draw a card for you and a card for them to see what energy you would be bringing to this relationship and what energy they would be bringing. So for option 6, what energy would they be bringing to this relationship if it were to take place? And what energy would their person be bringing to this relationship if it were to take place? Okay, now before I turn these over, I should mention that I did say this card was going to be you and that this card was going to be them, but sometimes in these readings, the energies are flipped, and that's okay. So you might actually be this person over here, and they might be this one. I'm going to refer, therefore, to these two sides, not by option 6 and option 6's person, but instead by the names that are on the cards. Okay, so that we can keep it kind of straight. Also, keep in mind that the readings are gender neutral, even though these cards will have gendered names. Okay, let's start with this side. So this is the energy that one person here will be bringing to this relationship. We have the Page of Cups. And the energy the other person would be bringing is the Page of Wands. Okay, so we got 2 pages. Okay, that's a first in this reading. So probably these 2 people would be around the same age and or maturity level and or experience level. And speaking of experience, I'm not sure because these are pages. So like that seems more like less experience. So neither of you maybe has had this kind of experience before in a relationship. Whatever this thing is that we were talking about before may be new to both of you. Like, oh, well, you never engaged in that type of relationship. It's not good or bad, or, I'm not putting any kind of value judgment on it. I'm simply describing the energy here, the energy of newness, of novelty, and, maybe of differentness, since we were talking about that. One of you, though, is bringing water energy here with the cups. Water energy is indicating Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, whereas this person over here, the Page of Wands, is bringing fire energy, which corresponds to Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Now, fire and water are not generally considered to be harmoniously disposed towards each other. In fact, you can see this pretty obviously when you understand that putting water on a fire puts the fire out, and putting fire under some water evaporates, it causes the water to boil away into steam and evaporate. Okay, obviously major changes that maybe aren't always desirable, even though I mean I could see how maybe it could be desirable. I mean, you know, in some context. But anyway, so there's a fundamental differentness here between these two people. Your person on the left here, the Cups person, our Page of Cups, is likely to be more, you know, just emotional, open-hearted, sentimental, caring, loving, wearing their heart on their sleeve. And this person over here, the Page of Wands, is not so much interested in the life of the heart. Is not so interested in, you know, human connections. The fiery energy here is more interested in going out into the world and experiencing life and having adventures, learning new things and how to do new things. And if they encounter some people along the way, they hope that, you know, they'll find some cool people to hang with and all of that. But the emphasis is not on the emotional, sentimental, or, you know, maybe for our context here, the particularly, I was going to say romantic, but, you know, fiery energy actually can be romantic but it's more like passion. It's more like the sexual, you know. Which, as I said, you know, when you put the water with the fire, you can cause the water to come to a boil, you know, so, you know, you can heat it up and you could really get cooking. So as far as, you know, that side of things, it could be exciting for both people. But these two people, you know, as I said, they're very different. Let me see. Now let's look at what the main question here is for this reading. So for the Page of Cups here on the left, how happy would they be in this relationship if it were to happen? Okay, we have the Knight of Swords. Okay, again, I apologize if you're hearing all kinds of noises in the background. And for this Page of Wands over here, how happy would they be in this relationship? We have the Six of Swords. That's interesting. You both have swords energy. I think we saw this in another group as well. So, for our Page of Cups, there's something hard driving over here, like a determination, and I think the determination is to have the emotional connection and the romance that they envision. As I said, both of these pages, you know, they're young, they're inexperienced, and so this new experience of this relationship, you know, has our Page of Cups here wanting it to be all it can be in the romantic sense. It is, after all, a romantic relationship. And because there's this great focus on that, maybe other things are being ignored, and maybe this page becomes kind of one-track minded. So it's almost like this page can convince himself or herself that this relationship is what they want and that they should be totally focused on living the dream here. Whether that's actually being concretized whether the relationship, objectively speaking, is that vision or does match that vision, whether it does or not. Like the Page of Cups over here is focused on that. And I don't know, maybe that makes the page happy. I can't say as of yet. Maybe we'll get some more information as we go along. This is kind of more neutral to me. Yeah, I won't say more. For the Page of Wands over here, with the Six of Swords, you know, the Page of Wands, as we said, is just experiencing life. The page is just, you know, moving from adventure to adventure. This is an adventure. This relationship, I should say, would be an adventure because, again, partly because of the novelty of it, the newness, you know, like it's something this page has never experienced either. But also, this page would see this relationship as just, you know, another cool thing that they're doing in life. I'm not, again, I'm not able to say, quote unquote, whether either one of these people is happy or how happy, because the energy here is not even of, I mean, it's mental energy with the swords, but it's not heart based. So I'm not sure. Maybe we'll get more as we go on. I hope so. So let me see. Maybe this deck will help us out here. So please tell us how happy this relationship between option 6 and the person on their mind would be. How happy would this relationship be if they were to get together in a relationship? Okay, we have floating on air. We also have, let's see, self-love. Wow. Well, alrighty then. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know, I'm not sure what the happiness quotient is, but these two cards are pretty explicit here. Floating on air, I think both individuals would be very happy here. The page perhaps would believe that not only are they questing for this happily ever after, but that this relationship could in fact get to the happily ever after. They would be very committed to, you know, having that happen or seeing that happen. They'd be very focused on seeing that come to pass and doing whatever they could to make that come to pass. So they could play out, you know, this grand romance that they have in mind. And it looks like with the floating on air here that things are going according to their plans. So that, or would be, I should say, and that's a good thing. For the Page of Wands also, you know, even though this is a time of gaining experience and having adventures and all of that, this is a great adventure. It is it's an amazing adventure and experience, and one that makes the Page of Wands also very happy. So this would be a happy relationship, it looks like, even though we start with this something different, unconventional, uncertain, or secret here. And then we have the interesting card of self-love coming through. I think that these two people coming together and having this relationship, even though it is, again, maybe there's something not typical, right, about this, it's helping both people to embrace themselves. And I guess that makes sense, you know. I mean, like, why would people choose to have this kind of, you know, non-typical, this atypical type of connection? Well, it could be because they feel like it's worth the backlash, even though I don't know if there's a backlash if they're keeping it under wraps. Um, but at the same time, it does something for them too. It helps them to feel better about themselves and to appreciate themselves more and to love themselves more. That's pretty nice. And it goes back to this card you chose, embrace what makes you different. This relationship is just one of the things making you different, but you are at the same time embracing yourself, your true self. Or would be, I should say. I keep saying you are, you, and all this kind of stuff, but please understand, this is all hypothetical, because that's what we've been talking about here, is hypothetical. Now I'm going to see if we can get some advice for you, option 6, about how you can make this relationship even happier. So how can option 6 make this relationship even happier? We have healing heart. Healing of the heart begins with forgiveness. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so always remember then, should you get into this relationship, that you should have a heart of forgiveness toward your person and encourage that in them as well. This will help your relationship not only to grow but to thrive. So is there anything else? What else does option 6 need to know about this relationship and whether it would be happy or how happy it would be? What else does option 6 need to know about that? We have, what topic could we spend hours talking about? Well, there you go. It sounds like the two of you, if you were to get into a relationship, would do well to spend hours talking. And we do have here these two mental cards, like I said, the swords cards coming out for how happy the people would be. And so certainly that lends towards things like communication. And so if the two of you focus on just having that time to just talk to each other, that this would help and strengthen your relationship. And I dare say that it would just be part of this relationship anyway, an important part of this relationship. Perhaps because of whatever this atypical situation is. So now option 6, I'm going to see if I can bring forth a song that describes how this relationship would be. I'm going to draw 5 of these Scrabble cards here, see if they can spell out anything that evokes in me a song. So let's see. Please provide me with 5 letters, please. Okay, we have O, L, I, H, and A. I don't know what the name of this song is, and also don't remember who sang it, but there was this song. It's a song about a girl named Delilah, and I will link it in the description box for you. I'm going to write down that it's called Delilah. I hope that will help me to remember. I will put that link there. You can check out the lyrics of that song to see how your relationship with this person would be. But there is a line that says, "Oh, what you do to me. Oh, what you do to me." So check that out if you are so inclined. I'm going to end it here, option 6. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this reading, found it helpful, insightful, entertaining, etc., please subscribe to the channel and or give this video a thumbs up for the algorithm. Again, I thank you for joining me. This concludes your reading and this video. So until next time, and I hope there will be one. Goodbye.